Now, why do you think I told you all this? Do you think that the Captain Biorhythm story is sort of entertaining? Do you think that I taught you something about yourself? Okay, now, what would you think if I just had Captain Biorhythm up here and I didn't bring Ralph Zuranski with me? What would be the problem? Yes, you think I was some type of psycho that you're making sure that you keep your kids away from me. Just a bit odd. So I actually gave you a framework. You now have a context to be able to figure out, okay, he's not as sane as I thought he was, and he might actually be onto something, and he actually told me something about myself. Well, I've been shamelessly promoting Captain Biorhythm because it's something that was very important to me in my life. Back in 1971, I was a manager from a company, and one of the trainers up above me, he showed me this book on biorhythms, and he said, if you learn biorhythms, you can cut down your accidents and injuries and your mistakes by close to 70%. In Japan, in the Omhai Railway, where they have 60,000 drivers, they implemented biorhythms and were able to cut accidents virtually down to zero in 60,000 drivers. And by being able to use biorhythms and understand how it works, I discovered that I was able to cut down not only my accidents and my injuries in sports, because I participated in a lot of dangerous sports. I was a surfer, motorcycle racer, I did a lot of stuff. I was into martial arts, all kinds of stuff where, you get injured in the process of doing that. And when I first found out about biorhythm, I thought, oh my God, now I know the days that I'm going to hurt myself. Because there's certain days that you're unstable, and if you know those days are unstable, initially when I first found out about biorhythms, I thought, oh my God, I don't even want to get out of bed on those days. I think there's got to be a way of using it to your benefit. And so I did more research, and what they did in the Omhai Railway in Japan is that they wouldn't tell the drivers what their biorhythms were. What they would do is today is a special day for you. We're going to give you an empty box of candy. And this is the day that if you come back and you have no wrecks with your vehicles, we're going to give you a full box of candy to take home. Now, what do you think was the result of that? Do you think that they spent more of their focus on driving safer? They're focusing on the reward, weren't they? And so it's called autogenic training. And the Dr. Tatai, who was in charge of all that, he discovered that the hormones are the things that cause the highs and the lows, where there's a physical, there's an emotional, and there's an intellectual cycle. The physical and emotional were discovered by two doctors in the late 1800s, Dr. Fleiss and Dr. Svoboda. And basically what they did is they kept track of when patients got sickness and when they got fevers and when they died. And so it was just a statistical analysis of death and disease. And so they came up with the 23-day cycle, where it was mostly referring directly to men. The 28-day cycle referred mostly to women. And they found that if you didn't do surgeries, and there were dentists that were working with him too, on certain days, that they're able to cut the complications and extra bleeding down to zero. But if they did the surgeries and procedures at a different time, they had anywhere between 30 and 40% complications. And that was the thing that I discovered in biorhythms, and I've spent, that was 1971 until now, so that's a lot of years. And I've actually worked with professional athletes. I worked with the San Diego Sockers and the San Diego Chargers doing biorhythms on the athletes, and the goal is to find people that were the most balanced performers. Because if you have an extreme life, the fluctuations in the curves are accelerated. It's like a giant roller coaster. How many people have ever met individuals that they just go through the most unbelievable vacillations, or who has ever been there themselves? It's just like highs and lows, and one time a year, all your biorhythms join together and go up and down together in unison, so you have the lowest of lows and highest of highs over a month and a half period of time. Have you ever thought of just, oh, my life is horrible, I'm going to kill myself? Oh, my life is so great, how come it can't be this way all the time? And you go for like a period of a month and a half, and you just go through these swings. It's just like incredible. Everybody does. That's just a part of human life. That's just the natural biological cycles that we go through. But in our society today, is it okay to be depressed? No, that's not politically correct. What do they give you if you're depressed? Yeah, any number of drugs to get your mood back up so you can be happy all the time. And so that's the problem that we're at now, is by disassociating the left side of the body, the right side of the body, the left brain and the right brain, and not acknowledging the biological activity that's going on in all of us all at the same time. It's basically accomplished what they used to call in the Bible is called witchcraft. It's called pharmakeia, which is using drugs to alter the human experience for a specific reason. It has nothing to do with how the body really works. Well, when I discovered that, it was just like, gee, it's incredible. And I became a part of the Pepsi-Cola Skateboard Safety Program. I became the director of that and put that whole program together. And the reason why I did that is I was director of a skateboard park up in LA. And so I had all these skateboarders coming through the park, breaking their legs, breaking their arms, and I was just like, oh, God, I don't think I can take one more kid with a broken wrist to the hospital. It was just killing me. And so I decided, I'm going to use biorhythms to help encourage these kids to skate safe. And so by giving them like an extra free pass or whatever, I got all their birthdays because I had it on their charts, I was able to cut accidents and injuries down to 0.